Thanks for joining the session. This is a joint work together with researchers from the Norton Research Group and the IMDEA Software Institute. Scams have become a top threat for online users. They actually inflict profound emotional distress to their victims, including feelings of betrayal, embarrassment, and vulnerability, but they also cause significant financial damages. Only in 2023, FTC has reported losses in $10 billion only in US. Similar figures from ACCC in Australia have been reported. Prior work has actually analyzed and proposed defenses for specific types of scams, like tech support scam, cryptocurrency, etc. However, it's unclear how each scam type compares to the other, and it's unclear also what is the popularity of each scam type. And quantifying the user exposure to each of those scam types is important because it can allow us to improve our defenses and also prioritize security investments. Now, such measurements have actually been reported by reports from consumer protection agencies like FTC, ACC, and BBB, but actually these reports are actually focusing mostly on one country or a couple of nearby ones, and they also, most importantly, they depend on victims reporting the scams, and we know that victims are not keen to make such reports. So in this study, to the best of our knowledge, we are doing the first quantitative analysis measurement of user exposure to online scams, and we aim to answer different research questions, starting with the quantification of the overall exposure to online scams, identifying the scam types that users are most exposed to, analyzing different characteristics of the lifetime of scams, measuring the fraction of scams that are reached through online ads, and in the paper we also do an analysis of the geographical differences and measuring the fraction of users that are actually scammed. And the last two are omitted from this presentation due to time constraints. Now, in order to answer these questions, we need two data sources. The first is anonymized telemetry dataset from Norton AV clients, comprising of 11 million Windows desktop devices and 14 million Android and iOS devices from over 230 countries. And this dataset covers 10 months. Now, the main difference between these two datasets is basically that for Windows desktop devices, we observe events at the URL level, while for mobile devices at the domain level. We combine this with a dataset of scam domains comprising of 607,000 FQDNs grouped in 500,000 SLDs. This is 1 to 2 orders of magnitude larger compared to prior studies on scams. And these scam domains are coming, some are coming from Scam Advisor. Scam Advisor is a commercial scam detection solution. We obtained their feed, we did some extensive filtering, and we collected a subset of those and included in this study. And we complemented this with 289,000 shopping scam domains identified by an internal machine learning detection solution focusing on shopping scams applied in Norton Research Group, but it's also evaluated in our AXAC 2023 paper. Now, apart from the domains, the shopping scam domains that are coming from the machine learning classifier that we already know a priori that they are shopping scams, for the rest, we actually don't have a specific scam type. So we need to assign them, and we do that by leveraging content signatures that are available on the Scam Advisor feed. These signatures are labeled as industry tags, and you can see a subset of those in the table. Basically, we evaluate each tag, the precision of each tag. We discard tags that are not have high precision. We collect those that are good enough, and group them and come up with 7 scam types. And in this way, we can apply directly to the telemetry data. Now, let's have an overview of the 7 scam types that are included in this study. We have shopping scams. These are online e-shops that when a client places an order on those, they won't receive anything, or they may receive something that's completely different from what they ordered. We have cryptocurrency and financial scams. Both refer to websites that offer investment services. The former is targeting assets that are related to cryptocurrencies, obviously, and the latter is actually more generic, and it includes Forex, high-yield investment programs, and real estate. We also have dating scams. These are fake dating platforms that, that actually offer fraudulent adult subscription services. We have gambling scams. These are sport betting and online casinos that most often the user is not able to withdraw any funds. We have employment scams. These are targeting people that are seeking jobs, again, through fake subscription services, but also offering other assistance for during the job application process. And finally, we have funds recoveries. This is one of the most nasty scams out there because they actually target people that have already fell victim of another scam. So basically, they offer them the opportunity to recover some of their losses, but instead they scam them once again. Now let's start answering some of the answering our research questions here, starting with the overall user exposure. So from the 500,000 scam domains in our data set, almost 83% of those are actually also observing the telemetry. They actually receive user visits. And those actually, in the 10-month period that we analyzed, there are 25 million desktop and IP devices visiting them. Now, if we see the statistics at the daily level, we actually see that each day over 149,000 devices are exposed to online scams, and also that the fraction of desktop users that are exposed to scams is twice than mobile. When we analyze each scam types, the user exposure per scam type, as you can see in these two tables here, sorted by the number of IPs that are exposed to each scam, we actually observe that users are most exposed to shopping scams, followed by cryptocurrency and financial scams, while the rest of the scam types, the exposure is way less. Now, shopping scams remain at the top as the most prevalent one, even if we remove the domains that we got from the internal machine learning classifier and remove any potential bias from that. We also analyze different characteristics of the lifetime of scams, specifically three types of measurements. The first one is the active time. Active time here is basically the time difference between the first and the last observation of a scam SLD in our telemetry. We actually see that across all scams, they actually remain active for 11 days. Now, prior work has measured active time for phishing domains, and they found that this is between 17 to 21 hours. And this means that scam domains are actually 12 to 15 times longer active times. Now, this basically highlights the fact that as a community, we need to improve our defenses against this type of threat. We also analyzed the listing delay, and here the listing delay is basically the difference between the first observation of a scam SLD in the telemetry and the first appearance of the domain in a scam domain feed. Basically, a negative listing delay tells you that a scam domain was first detected and then the first user visited. And the opposite, of course, the positive, it means the opposite. Now, what we see here is that scam domains overall are actually detected 1 day after the first user visits them in the telemetry. And this may seem low, but please keep in mind that based on our analysis, we actually see that within these first 24 hours, the majority of the traffic that arrives on these scam domains is already there. Now, on a more positive note, we actually see that 88% of the scams are actually first detected, first they appear in the scam feed, and then the first user visits them. This means basically that these kind of feeds have some proactive capabilities, but this is very limited, obviously. Now, we also want to identify the fraction of scams that are reached through online ads. And we are able to do this by leveraging the UTM parameters that are available in the advertised URLs. And you can see an example of such parameters here. UTM parameters are basically parameters that are added on those URLs for tracking purposes. And both benign and scammers are actually using these parameters to track the efficacy of their advertising campaigns. And we use this because we gain very useful insights on those operations. So basically what you see here is for each scam type, we see the scam observations coming from online ads, the number of SLDs that is included in those advertised URLs, and the number of users that are actually visiting them. In total, we see that 13% of scam observations are because a user actually clicked on an advertisement. And also, we observe that the 3 scam types that are most advertised here are actually the same as the ones that are most prevalent, meaning shopping, cryptocurrency, and financial. We also note here that some scam types are more, their ads are more efficient and successful. You can see an example here in the red rectangle, where we have almost the same amount of SLDs advertised for cryptocurrency and financial scams, but actually cryptocurrencies have a way 4 times more reach and success when it's measured by user exposure. Finally, we also use the UTM source parameters to identify the platforms that these advertisements are placed on. And what we see is basically that scam advertisements are placed largely on social media, and Facebook, it's right at the top, is the most preferred way for such advertisements, followed by Twitter. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, if you have any questions, please walk up to the microphone.
Well, at least it's not behind the pole today. Hi, my name is Elijah Bama-Sims from Carnegie Mellon University. Really interesting talk. I'd love to chat more. I have lots of questions.
Yep.
But I'm curious about, other than online advertising, do you have a sense of the other ways that people are getting to these domains? Like whether it's over SMS, like can you get that information, or is that more obscured, I guess?
Yeah, actually, with the datasets that that were available, it's not possible. Actually, due to the fact of the UTM parameters being present, we were also able to do such measurements for online ads.
Okay, thank you.
I also have a quick question about the UTM parameters. In what percentage of domain names you found these parameters to be at, and how good do you think it will be comprehensively to utilize that in future work to find the originating domain names? Thank you.
Okay, so basically for 10% of this table, basically at the mid row, it's 10% of the scams are actually advertised, so they appear with UTM parameters. Now, the second part of the question, I didn't understand it, but if I understand correctly, basically for future studies, we can use this to actually identify campaigns and group basically domains that we believe they are, based on their UTM parameters, are used by the same people.
Yeah, that's what
okay.
I was mentioning.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
I will also ask a follow-up question. So, for example, can you comment on something about the current detection schemes, right? Basically, there are like many interesting features, and then like are there any suggestions from you based on these observations? For example, like which features we can leverage to better enhance the detection schemes?
Yeah, so basically one of the decisions that we took also after this study was basically there's a debate always about the fact, should we create one classifier that detects all different scam types, or we should invest in N classifiers where each one targets a specific scam type. At the end, we decided that basically for those scam types like shopping, financial, and cryptocurrency, it makes sense to have dedicated detection solutions. And there are features out there to target such, to train such classifiers. And for the rest, it makes sense to create some more generic classifier that covers all the rest.
Okay, thank you.